Hey y'all, it's Jessica from Swatches. Today I have a swatch and review of the Neon Demon collection coming April 1st through 5th from Femme Fatale Cosmetics. I'll link her social media and storefront down below. I really recommend joining the Facebook group. Sophie does an amazing job at keeping everyone updated over there. Even though this is called Neon Demon, it is based off of a movie, so these polishes won't necessarily be neons. It's going to be a lot of the shimmer and glitter that Femme Fatale is known for. So I'll go ahead and get into the swatches. So first up is Kissing Reflections, and this is a bright blue-based pink base with a lot of blue shimmer as well as some scattered holographic glitter. That shimmer does translate really well to the nail, and that scattered holographic really comes out in direct sunlight. It is a little bit subtle. So here's a quick brush shot, and I'll show you how Kissing Reflections swatched on my natural nail. So here is one easy coat. This formula is very creamy, very nice to work with. It is a little bit sheer, which I've come to expect from Femme Fatale Cosmetics. You kind of have to build them up a bit. One coat does make for nice even coverage though, so I'll let that dry and then come back in for my second coat. This is a bit of a thicker second coat, but this brought this polish to full coverage in just 2 coats. I am going to let this dry and then come back in and show you what a third coat looks like. This is one of those polishes I definitely recommend capping the tip before your final coat. This third coat does bring this one just a little bit deeper, so I definitely think it's worth it. Even though you can get full coverage out of 2, this is a little bit brush strokey in that shimmer, so you may want to watch out for that. Here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. Next up is Defile in Gold, and this is one of my very top picks. This is a very bronze type gold with a very strong gold shimmer and a really strong gold holographic scattered glitter. So this is just so pretty on the nail. Another really awesome formula. It almost has like a mauve or maybe maroon kind of flash around the edges, which I absolutely love. So here's a quick brush shot, and I'll show you how Defiled in Gold swatched on my natural nail. So here is one smooth, easy coat. This one is so easy to work with. You can almost see that shift just around the edge of my nail. One coat makes for really great coverage. It is a little bit sheer though, so I'll let that dry and then come back in for a second coat. One thing I want to note is that this does dry down a little bit around that scattered holographic glitter, so you'll want a top coat to help smooth it out. It's not intense by any means, but it is there. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Get Her Out of Me, and I think that this one is going to be a fan favorite. It's just a really pretty mix. It does have a blue jelly base with a very strong red shimmer, some holographic glitter, and those red to green to gold shifting iridescent glitters. So just a gorgeous combination. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Get Her Out of Me swatched on my natural nail. So here is the first coat. This one does go on very sheer. If you're not into doing a lot of coats, like 3 to 4, you may want to use a base coat for this. It really reminds me of the Cold State of Blue Within Blue Eyes, so I absolutely love it. One coat does make for nice even coverage. I'll let that dry and come in for the second. The second does build up that blue base and adds a ton of those glitters. When you're polishing with this one, you may just want to be mindful to make sure that you get all of those larger glitters kind of spread out on the nail. So 2 coats is still a little bit shy of being fully opaque for me, so I am going to go ahead and show you what a third coat looks like. For this third coat, I did go in for a nice thick third coat. I think that this one really is on the edge of being a 3 to 4 coater for me. I did like the effect at 3 coats though. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. I love how strong that red shimmer is in this polish. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Falling into Blue Death, and this is a very light lavender base with a ton of larger scattered holographic glitters as well as some smaller ones in there and a very strong blue or teal shift. So I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot. And I'll show you how Falling into Blue Death swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. This one does go on pretty sheer. I was almost just convinced that this was a topper, but it does build up beautifully. So you get a ton of those glitters as well as a ton of that shimmer. This one is going to be quite textured when it dries down because it does have a lot of those larger glitters. Here is my second coat. It does build that base up a bit and adds to that green to a very light purple shift, but it's not completely opaque, so I'll let that dry and then come back in for a third coat. Here is my third and final coat. I did go in for a nice thick third coat here, but it really brings this one right to the edge of being opaque. This has such a strong shimmer in it that when it hits the light, it's really going to block any kind of visible nail line you might have, and this just looks like Easter to me on the nails. Really pretty. This is another one of my top picks, so here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Grave in a Rose Garden, and this is another light purple base with a very strong purple shimmer this time, and this one is just completely full of multi-chrome flakies and scattered in linear holographic glitter, it looks like. So I'll show you a quick brush shot, and I'll show you how Grave in a Rose Garden swatched on my natural nail. So here is my first coat. This polish does go on nice and smooth and easy. It's not too thick or too thin, but it is quite sheer. You do get a lot of those multi-chrome flakies as well as that shimmer, but it's not anywhere near opaque. So I'll let that dry and then come back in for a second coat. The second coat for sure builds that shimmer up really nicely. It also adds a ton more of those multi-chrome flakies. It's still a little bit shy of being opaque for me though, so I'll let that dry and then come back in for a third coat. So here is my third and final coat for today. I am going to go in for a nice thick third coat as I do. This really builds that shimmer up, and that's going to help it look more opaque, but I think that this one was still just shy of being opaque for me. I think at 4 coats it would be completely opaque. I think this is going to make another lovely topper too, especially over black to help those multi-chrome flakies pop. Here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is It's Everything, and this is a bit of a deeper purple base with a teal shimmer and just completely full of multi-chrome flakies. This one is a little bit more opaque and also has some purple glitters in there as well. So I'll show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how It's Everything swatched on my natural nail. So here is one easy coat. Again, these just go on so smooth, just a little bit sheer, so I'm going to have to come in and build this one back up. I did get a ton of flakies on the nail and a ton of shimmer. So I'll let that dry and then come back in and show you what a second coat looks like. So here is my second coat. I'm going to go in for a nice thick second coat here to help build it up more quickly. 2 coats makes for really nice coverage. I still got a little bit of flash of a nail line though, so I'll let that dry and then come back in and show you what a third coat looks like. So here is my third and final coat for today, and this does bring this one completely opaque. Those flakies do make it look like it dries down a little bit textured, but a good top coat will help smooth that out. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. I really love that teal on purple shimmer. It's just really pretty. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So lastly today I have Baku, and this is a kind of deep purple jelly base with a very strong red shimmer and a ton of blue micro flakes. I really like that blue on purple look. It really makes that blue pop for some reason. So here's a quick look at a brush shot, and I'll show you how Baku swatched on my natural nail. So here is one easy coat. This polish does have a bit of shift to it there, I think, from that red to green in that shimmer. One coat goes on pretty sheer, but I'll let that dry and then come back in for a second. So here is my second coat. I'm going to try to build this up quickly and go in for a little bit of a thicker coat here. It does build that shimmer up, and of course you get a ton more of those flakies. It is still quite sheer though, so I'll let that dry and then come back in for a third coat. So here is my third and final coat for today. I'm going to build this up with a nice thick third coat. I think that this one was still just shy of being opaque for me. If I was going to use this for personal use again, I would definitely do it as a topper. I think over a deep, deep red would be absolutely stunning. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So that wraps up today's swatch and review of the Neon Demon collection. These are going to be available starting on April 1st through 5th on the Australian Femme Fatale website, and then trickling down to the US later in the month. I definitely recommend following her social media to stay updated on future restocks and new releases. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.wordpress.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.